And the bang of the gong announces our arrival. Welcome back, folks. Game number 3 between Alliance and the side of Nigma. This is actually, it's not even game 3. It's game 1, right? Because we refresh things a little bit. We're like, okay, it's even up the score. It's not going to be a stomp. This is now a best of 3 to decide who goes to the minor. And I thought we should refresh everything. So I'm back. But I brought someone from down under, right? He is peered through the earth to see the power of EU swelling from inside. It is Danog ready to see some amazing Dota between Alliance and Nigma. How's it going, bud?
I'm doing all right. Valentine's Day is all done and dusted here, so figured get home. It's like 1:15 a.m. right now, but who cares? We got some Alliance versus Nigma in the minor qualifiers. How crazy is
It's pretty nuts, right? And we just had Liquid, who got knocked out 2-0 by Nigma in a low bracket before this. It's a stacked qualifier. It's quite a small qualifier. Like, usually people, they'll see maybe 2 teams with, like, oh, yeah, they're pretty strong because everyone's at the major. But in the use case, there's so many known names and so many players. Like, you look at the list of people here, right? Some of the most successful people in Dota, some of the most experienced people in Dota. Fada, I think he's in the top 10 for most games ever played in Dota 2. And then obviously you have the TI boys in Nigma.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You always see people have their opinions. Oh, they looked really down based off the true side. Da 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 da. Da. They on their day and with their strats, Nigma can take anyone. That's the thing. Like people forget they were. Pretty sure they were in upper bracket, right? At Dream League, they did go out in straight sets, one after the other. But it's not easy to get to that upper bracket at a previous major, and not much has changed really, other than OG coming into the scene in Europe.
No, that's true. And I think the big thing that people have had a debate over isn't the slots for major. Lots of people felt a bit robbed with how many slots the minor got, right? But I think the thing that some people are trying to highlight right now is some of the teams that didn't make it were caused by upsets, right? And the whole logic of the system is, well, yeah, these guys should do good, but if they're not delivering and a team that's unexpected makes it through instead, then the system is working as intended. You've got enough slots, etc., etc.
Yeah, and we saw that exact thing happen. You had TNC losing to Reality Rift, I believe, who then lost to Boom Esports. So Boom making it through in the SEA region to, I think that's their first actual DPC LAN of this season, which is really exciting for them. They'd gotten to the closed qualifiers of the minor portion for the previous two, so it's
Yeah.
very exciting, especially beating out some very credible teams. Reality Rift having made the previous minor, TNC obviously number one at the moment on DPC, and then IO as well. Ex Mineski
Mhm.
looking decently strong as well, so they'd have to be very proud of themselves.
Yeah, congratulations to them. And that's the way the system's meant to work. If we were to try and cater this system to, oh well, this team didn't make it, then going by LGD's form, we would probably have to give China like 50 slots to the majors.
Yeah, I mean, you want to see LGD at least in the closed qualifiers, right? Like you can get cheesed. Like I don't know. Actually, I didn't watch that last series. Did they get cheese against Blaze,
I don't think
or
it was full
was it
cheese,
more
but
of
it was a
just an out?
2-0. I know that much. So
Yeah, and
Blaze
they
wasn't
banned
very hot.
all of Axe's heroes as well, and well, they banned all of position 3 heroes with all of their bans, and they were still able to pull it out on Blaze's end. So, congrats to them. And those have actually started those major quals as well.
Mm. And then speaking of plus threes, actually looking at this game because I just noticed we have got a little bit of draft development. People are going to be going, Kikwa and PPGA, please talk about draft, and then Teeters. We're looking at this opener from Alliance, Timbersaw, Oracle. What do you like? If there's any team you don't like giving Timber to, do you think it would be fair to say it's Alliance right now because you just don't know what they're doing with it?
You could say similar things for Fnatic, I'd say, and potentially Secret too. Obviously, they're not at the stage where they have to worry about minor qualifiers, having made their way through already, but Alliance is very versatile with the way that they like to play it. We've shown in the past that they've obviously got a lot of ways that they can structure their lineups. They're not averse to throwing the Timbersaw into the safe lane instead and changing up these lanes, maybe going for a more advantageous lineup.
Yeah, that's true. And early in this series, we saw 33 play the Timber in the mid as well. So it's not just the lane they run the Timber, but also the player which they run it on. Has proven pretty formidable. I also love the fact they open it up with the Oracle. It's just a really good hero to couple false promise with in the early stages of the game. And Fada has actually looked very formidable, I want to say, on Oracle, actually. His transition to the 5 role over the last several months has been pretty incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you talk about that experience that's come through from all of his top 10 games played.
10 seconds
Well, that has to
remaining.
come from somewhere, right? You know, a lot of these players,
5 seconds
they
remaining.
might not have the life skills, let's say, but they've got the Dota skills, that's for sure, and they're able to adapt to a lot of different change.
Definitely the case. And Fada, amongst the most experienced, it kind of feels like it's just a natural fluid role at this stage for him to move in with the knowledge that he can pass on to a new generation of players. And
Yeah,
then
that's always the ones that you get most excited at seeing, right? The lineups that have a mix between old and new. You know, it's conveying the knowledge, you know, listen up, young one, I'm going to teach you X, Y, and Z. And you can see, I'm just going to go back to True Sight. You could see the difference in the people that Kuro, for example, was really listening to. Like, it seemed like he was heeding Miracle's every single word, whereas some of the others, he was kind of brushing off what they were saying. So there's clearly some respect that has to be earned from the older players that have been here since the Dota 1 days. But, you know, these days, you've got a lot of young blood coming up as well that are really, really strong in their own right.
yeah, and it really highlights the way that Nigma likes to play. They like to focus around Miracle. Their successes early today were really prioritized around Miracle's early game success and how he just kind of transcends your regular farm rate and just takes over the game rapidly. And usually this has been at the sacrifice of mind control. Something we might see here again is this Pugner is likely going to be put in the hands of the offlaner of Nigma.
Could do. I mean, it is one of those things where it's
10
unlikely to be
seconds
played as a
remaining.
support with that Nyx Assassin already picked up, but we've seen Nyx 3s before as well.
5 seconds
We've even seen
remaining.
Pugna mid, and occasionally a team will throw out a Pugna 1. It's a lot less likely to happen, but yeah, it can happen. They've got a game in hand potentially to play with here. Maybe go for a bit of a cheese lineup to get that 2-1 advantage. Gets a lot of momentum, especially since Nigma won game number 2. So if they were to win 2 games in a row, that would really put Alliance in a tough spot.
Definitely so, but most likely, I was thinking three because you've got this Timber in the mix, right? You want to try and dodge it. You know it's likely that it won't be in the safe lane, and also you just use it as kind of soft counter and enabler. Because right now, Enigma do have a lot of kind of sustained potential here. If they get another a front line, I think is what they need next here. Probably looking at, I'd say this is going to be the mid hero, probably Whis hero coming out next.
Yeah, the thing I'm really liking about this Timbersaw pick as well is, you know, Nyx Assassin and Chen, they're not going to have a very easy time of dealing with him in lane when he just wants to sit underneath a tier 1 tower, or even a tier 2 at a certain point once you get those key items up, and just right click it down, get the damage off onto the creeps once he's got that armor stacked up. And really, it's only Pugna that can deal with him at this point on Nigma's end. So I'm sure that's what they're considering with these last 7 or so seconds of reserve time as to, well, Pugna needs to be doing a lot of offensive stuff for us. So how are we going to deal with that? OD, pretty good way to do it.
Yeah, they're giving themselves plenty of methods to separate the damage sources of Alliance. So now Alliance, they probably are more likely to pivot more into Magic Burst to try and exploit the OD in the early phases. Obviously, OD now matches up well against the Timber. You've got the Pugna to Decrep Protect
10
potentially here.
seconds remaining.
So Alliance, they wouldn't be hurt by another
5
hero at the
seconds
front line. You're
remaining.
probably focusing now on what you can actually counter the OD on the lane with.
Dire team ban.
And how could we not mention this guy?
Yeah, I mean that's one way to get really aggressive. Just go straight in onto the OD. You do need to be a little bit careful, of course, when he's getting low. Obviously, with that Berserker's blood, you get a lot of damage done, but it's a really quick way for Nigma to try and burst you down if you get a lot of the burst damage
10
coming out from the
seconds
Pugna
remaining.
as well as the
Time to
OD.
ban.
And we've seen how vicious this matchup can be. It's very volatile. Like one kill either side between the OD or Huskar can lead to a snowball effect. Of course, Huskar definitely has an advantage in the earlier levels as OD doesn't rely on the pure damage aspect of your kit until after lane phase.
Yeah, and right now, other than the Timber Sword, there's not really,
10
excuse me, too
seconds
much
remaining.
neutral camp taking potential. So we know that in the past, Husker, when he got his couple of neutral items, he was really able to come online, start to push down towers, and if you got lucky, you just won the game straight up at 20, 25 minutes. Now that you've reduced it to one neutral item each, it's obviously much less of a factor, but still you're going to look for those key timings around the 20-minute mark where Husker is going to be an absolute menace.
Most definitely the case. There was a bunch of cores that were really benefiting from the neutral items, just bridging this slow pace, this gap. It was something I was discussing a bit in the last game because we saw Juggernaut come out for the side of Alliance, and it was a hero that maybe could see some resurgence now that you don't have everyone just stacking ridiculous amounts of neutral items and making them unkillable. Sadly, that didn't work out for Alliance in that game, but Huskar definitely a better scaling core, especially even late game we get the 25, and they complete the draft with the Ricky. All right, this is aggressive.
Man, this is a janky draft from Alliance. Oh, one cheese isn't enough? Let's go for another couple.
Hey, this is right here, Danog, is this is a why farm creeps when we could farm heroes lineup.
Yeah, true. There is a point, though, when Chen's by far the strongest hero in this game. When he hits up to his level 6, when he gets that mechanism, that's the key point where Alliance are going to need to be a bit wary because you're just going to be able to out-sustain anything that they can do at that stage and snowball as a result of it. I think their movement in these team fights is going to be a big factor because now you've even got the Monkey King being played by Miracles. So area control is going to be the name of the game for Nigma, as well as being able to get these key item timings up online, particularly for Kuro, and be able to push the advantage if they get any sort of early game lead.
Yeah, they have a choice to make whether they actually want to try and invest in mind control this time because Nigma do have this habit of doubling down on Miracle's lane, right? And giving him the best start possible. And it's usually been the sacrifice of mind control. But when I look at this draft, while there is a lot of volatility involved in the Monkey King snowballing, I think your safer option is to definitely give Pugner a good start and then just start flipping tower kills to take control of the map.
True. You need to get a couple of these key items up onto mind control. Other than Weeha being there, there's not too much in the form of save for a squishy Pugner, one of the lowest HP pools in the game. Yes, Kuro can throw out the Hand of God or throw out a mechanism if he's got it, but I think Nico Baby will be trying to make mind control's life a living hell before it gets to that point. So I think 4-staff will probably be the name of the game for mind control if he can. But also, of course, you need that Aether Lens, and you've only got so much net worth at the early stages of the game.
Definitely. And when you look at your supports, they're not like the 4-staff. We mentioned the mech already. Chen is just too good of an item to pass up. And then Nyx Assassins are always opting into this Meteor Hammer. But this might be the game where finally Nyx looks and goes 4-staff is too high value.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think Alliance will probably be playing much more of a, not necessarily a 4 Protect 1, but Timbersaw will be playing much more of a solo game compared to the rest of his team. They'll be creating space for him to take down these early tier 1 towers, and then once that's done, he'll try and join in once those items start to flow in for his.
Interestingly enough, Timber's going for a pretty aggressive start. He's gone for the Uve start. So there's definitely going to be a lot of harassment in the top lane and a lot of people moving at next to no speed. Question is whether you can actually pivot an advantage hard enough. Because, of course, level 1 Jingu is pretty underwhelming. It's once he gets 2 points in it, you're a little bit threatened as the Timber. But maybe if he goes for an aggressive start, you go for a point into Welling Death, you could just completely ruin Monkey King's lane before it begins.
Oh, this is going to be good.
And that seems to be their goal. Taking 3 heroes top to begin. Understandable as well. They probably have a lot more kill potential at the start here. Ricky is a better hero than it was at level 1, considering the damage buffs, considering the health status and the change in abilities now compared to old Ricky, but still not a beast to slay with. I think we're going to just get the cheese captures on each side.
Just mindful as well, with this early Oracle pick, Nigma was still confident enough to pick the Pugner into that. Obviously, the Decrepify is a good way to stop some of this aggression coming out from particularly the Ricky and the Huskar, but that can easily be dispelled by the Oracle's Fortunes.
Yeah, and of course, the Fate's Edict can just completely remove the damage element that you can throw out as a Pugner as well.
Yep. So he might just find himself not being a hero, at least very early on into the game.
That's the way it's starting to feel. But yeah, I understand why they pick it, right? Even if you don't have a good game, because you're playing it in the free roll, unlike where you play it in the mid, where it's this 2, it doesn't have to set the timings. It doesn't have to be the one shoving towers early on. You just later on do that, and you still have your relevance. And like a 2 Pugner eventually becomes a medic, that'll happen naturally as a free Pugner anyway. You just become the savior on the back line.
Unless he just gets trashed in lane, then you
And
have a
even
rough
then,
time.
even then, like, you can still just life drain from afar. I think that's almost always your job as a Pugner as the game goes on. You go up, you never blast, and if someone gets jumped, you save them as best you can.
Hmm.
I think it's kind of why the hero fell off a little bit in terms of popularity in the mid, and moving away from these tempo carries more towards farming heroes for a while, and then straight into kill type mids most of the time right now.
We can see a lot of this aggression being put up onto the top side of the map. Obviously, the tri-lane's happening here. Fada trying to get as much done as he can. You've got multiple Orbs of Venom on Fada as well as the 3. It's forcing Miracle back a little bit. Nico not having the easiest time either. GH doing his best to force him back. Decrepify being used in combination as well to make sure he's taking that maximum amount of damage.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about the Ricky is you can leave him alone to an extent just because he can use the Blink Strike to CS. Once he gets 2 points in it, it's decent for that purpose. So even the Decrepify won't necessarily stop you all times. Limp is getting bullied a little bit by Wii so far. The first few waves definitely going his ways, and he's forced to use the Fairy Fire already.
He's definitely a sink or swim style of mid laner on Limp. Some days he could just completely dominate. There's absolutely nothing the enemy team can do. Other times it's like, come on Limp, you're better than...
Yeah, the thing that is kind of interesting with Huskar is the way that some players are just
Miracle,
quickly
top side, getting a
identified.
bit low.
Oh, no, he won't get away. 33 used this exact same trick against him in the first game. Slap down a tree and completely destroy him with it. And it works again.
See, I'm assuming this time no T-Tours?
No T-Tools. We came up. We saw it last time as well. It was in the mid where we were expecting to kill because we almost went down as well. Limp. Oh, no, not. All right. He's not having a good time. He at least had a salve brought out. He'll have to immediately use it, though. So regen battle is starting to go a little bit in favor of Limp as he'll start to complete those braces soon.
And you can see, if we have a look, I know it's only 2.5 minutes into the game, but just switch over to the net worth and you can see a clear leader so far. This tri-lane working out very nicely for Alliance with the Timbersaw.
Something you don't even get to say very often, right? Traditionally, Timber was always seen as this greedy, XP-reliant hero that needs his space, get out of my lane. But when you're up against the Monkey King and you're just stemming him from getting that free, they're getting full value. And this was the thing that Alliance done so well in game 1 that worked for him. It was easier in a one-on-one vacuum to shut out Miracle, but now they invest all their resources because they realize that is key to Nigma's success.
Too true. Nico and Mind Control having a bit of a brawl down the bottom, both sitting very low on HP. Nico's going to have to be careful that he doesn't get harassed down with his...
Yeah, he's got a salve on the way out. It's going to be a while until it arrives, though. Mid lane, however, we're starting to feel the pain as Limp now has 2 points to the Burning Spears. This is where it starts.
They've
to
called in
pivot.
GH.
Well, 3-on-3 now. GH did get a little bit of XP advantage because Hanskin's now only level 1, finally reaches 2, so... Now it just comes down to the fact that Timber has the advantage.
Mind Control's going to have to be very careful in this bot side. He's just hit onto his level 3. Nico Baby's a full level ahead and got an entire creep wave underneath this tower.
And then top. Miracle goes down. They move quickly. And GH is forced back completely. This is worrying. I think if Timber gets to 4 unimpeded, this lane can't be assaulted anymore. And then the question is, where do you put the Monkey King in that situation? Because if you switch the lane, they're just going to follow.
Maybe they need to try and sneakily do a few stacks, get him to level up the Primal Spring, get a bit of farm into him.
Oh, mid. 1-for-1 trade. Actually bring each other down. We're looking at top still because we're just expecting things to pop off again. And I mean, it's a cute idea with the Primal Spring, but what if you get the Satyr? Just too much heals.
Yeah, way too much. We can see the sustained build that they're trying to go here as well on the Huskar, getting the double bracer, just picking up the Gloves of Haste, so trying to get the better of these trades in the mid lane. Weeha's going to be able to get the Observer Ward kill as well, if he wants to, which he will. Will it get denied?
No, Limp passed up that opportunity. Yeah, the braces are just so good in this lane. Notice how before he was just taking so much damage out of the Astrals. Now it's just a mild tickling.
Yourself get carried away.
And that stage, if you're weak right now, you're just praying that you can reach 6 before you get picked off again.
Mind
Top in the
control?
meantime.
Ooh.
Monkey King's in trouble here. We're trying to heal up, but they use the root play from Oracle. 33 stayed on top of Miracle all times. He'll chain away. They might be able to get him here. Fodder chasing in, and he doesn't have the vision. Monkey King just able to get out of range before the next Purifying Flames comes in, and now he's going back in with the Boundless Strike onto 2. Fodder Fairy fires up. Han's going to try and save the day, but GH still gets the kill with the assistance of Kuroki.
Nice double stun coming through from GH. That rotation up to the top side really coming in handy. A lot of this pressure still being put onto Miracle. He's sitting down in 4th on net worth, but still, he's doing all right. And now as well, Mind Control catching up on that experience. Getting a bit ballsy here on Nico Baby, trying to go in on.
Well, he's trying to be cute with the plays, but it's starting to backfire. And, Nico Baby not able to do enough damage. Just missed out on the final strike. Had already used both blink strikes there. This lane just gets rougher from here on out.
Same as before as well, right? They could have potentially got that kill on the top side if it was daytime, but there was 20 seconds that it had just transferred over to nighttime. I feel like Alliance definitely realized that and made sure to take full advantage.
And now we might be aggressed on too hard here. Science Eclipse. Limp looks to move away and just lives with 20 HP. Haste Rune gets him out of a sticky situation. And now I don't think you can tender this lane. Now that you've used the Science Eclipse, you just have to fall back to farming.
I'm interested to see if either team decides to go for a single neutral stack here. It's approaching that 7-minute mark, so the double camp would be nice to maximize your opportunity for getting a neutral.
Right now, they're just busy going aggressive on each other again. 33 will move away from Miracle in time. This Crit Wolf is going to be a huge boon for the side of Nigma, though. Just giving that similar effect that Doom became infamous for when he was being picked all the time for his Devour. And when you're in a try scenario, that damage definitely is the difference, 30%. Left. Burst down Miracle before you can even get the stacks up, and it's successful because Purifying Flames is a pain in the ass. They will chase on the GH as well. These ones are keeping him alive. This is the thing in tri lanes. You should all have ones. Hanskin doesn't feel the need for one, but Fada, he knows how much he spam Purifying Flames, so he already has that stick.
Doing a nice job there, and Mind Control still doing pretty decently on this bottom lane. He's not having the most farm, but he's putting a lot of pressure onto Nico Baby. I mean, when you're the position 1, you shouldn't be sitting at the same net worth as the offlaner, and then sitting in 7th and 8th position.
Definitely. This is the point where it can kind of convert a little bit, though, because you could go for a point smoke screen if you want 7, or now you at least are in a situation where Mind Control can't get an advantage out of life drain due to you having the tricks of the trade.
True, but he does have the advantage in regen, both from his heal kit as well as the Tango, and he's even got a salve backpack.
Yeah, it's definitely something that needs to actually have a rotation happen soon. It's just a matter of how much Alliance wants to keep committing to Nigma, his top lane, and shutting down Miracle. Because he is suffering, but obviously there's always that concern. It's a Monkey King. If you give him a little bit of breathing room in the first 10-15 minutes, he will wiggle back off the back of an Echo Saber, and then you can be in trouble. Then you're looking at the mids, you're like, which one's going to rotate? That's got to be the big thing. It feels like it's maybe a bit easier for the Huskar to do so, but optimally, you just want to be shoving the lane. You want to keep pressure and make sure that the OD can never arrive in the outer lanes with a big Science Eclipse play.
Well, both these mid laners have just stayed put. They're just wanting to get everything done, get as much farm in this mid lane as they can. Huskar obviously getting the better of the lane thus far. Very, very strong in the early game. I think Alliance are reasonably happy with how things have gone. It's just about how they're going to translate that into the mid game. We can see an Armlet build being picked up by Limp, wanting to make sure he can be as topped up as possible, especially against the burst damage that can potentially come through from the Pugna.
Exactly, and then when you're looking across at the other members, you're like, okay, so where's Alliance's glued together? When does it come online? Nico Baby needs to start getting some gold, then probably looks towards something like a Diffusal Blade, just so you can ramp up the pressure. It's not the type of lineup where you want to sit back and see what Nigma does in 20 minutes time.
Yeah, it looks like GH and Mind Control, they've got the outpost in their sights. It's only 15 seconds until it's going to capture. Will there be some repercussions for them? Might get the lift off? No.
Hansen's just dead. He didn't want to because he knew if he lifted straight away, then, well, he'd now have no way to protect himself, and also they'd still capture it afterwards. So no
So then he
XP
just
for
dies anyway.
Alliance.
Yeah. Very valuable.
I think the thing for him is he didn't expect the Pugna to be there as well. But a little bit of a disconnected rotation. It looked like Alliance were trying to finally come and address bot and assist there, but the way in which they do it didn't feel as fluid as we sometimes see from the boys. As a result, now you can see the pressures are alleviated a little bit from Miracle, so now he can actually at least get some CS on this lane against the Timber.
Were there any trends that showed themselves in the first 2 games? Like I said, I was out a bit before, so didn't get to see games 1 and 2.
I think it was the Miracle focus mainly, and also just enabling Nika Baby to get kills like this as Mind Control gets caught out bot. But usually it just comes down to Nigma's ability to unlock Miracle's farm, is how they measure their success. And usually that's off the back of having playmakers in your other lanes. But when you look at Nigma's other lanes, they do have something I wouldn't call playmaking type heroes. I call them casual farmers and pushers. And as I'm talking about that, Huskar does go down. GH. Oh, that should not be happening. He found a solo kill onto the Huskar.
Yeah. I mean, that's the danger of farming with that Berserker's Blood getting very low. Didn't quite pick up the armlet just yet, but I don't think it would have made much of a difference.
It's also the lethality of the new Vendetta, right? Ever since they added the break to it against a hero like Huskar, who should usually be able to heal up enough. Nice kill to 33 because he can't escape anymore. They converge and they address the Timber issue, now dead for 25 seconds. And in the bot lane, they're trying to find a cheeky plan of mind control, but the Decrepify buys too much time and Nico Baby can't get the kill.
He's a speedy little boy as well. Mind control. He's got the windlace as well as the boots of speed. He should be fine underneath his tower. He was really patient as well, making sure that he saved all of his magic damage until the Fate's Edict was used by Fada. And then just continuing to harass down Nico Baby, who's... Man, I wish we had a stat for how much gold he spent on all of these regen items, because I'm sure it would be probably top of everyone's in this game.
It would be a nice thing to have in the game. There's loads of things people ask for. Smokes is the other thing. Obviously, we get them on some of the UIs being designed by people like Leaf. But something we don't just inherently have in the game.
Maybe, you know, TI is coming, maybe, could be there.
Yeah, for TI.
Yeah, but after. Then we
I
all
don't know about that. I don't know about Nico Baby's chances of living either. He's just gone. And there's the rotation. They do have this habit doing this as well, but this is usually when we see a lane shift first from Alliance, is Nigma trying to just shift a bot. Usually it's to recover Mind Control's lane, but in this case it's just to easily push on and take a tower.
And it really amplifies the importance of Nigma getting those 2 shrines at the 10-minute mark as well. Fada was about a quarter of a level away from hitting his level 6, and you'd have to think that Nico would have lived if he had the false promise of it.
Imagine, so maybe there's no turnaround play, but at least you still have your boss one alive and not necessarily sitting this poor in the game. Which, by the way, when you actually look at the net worth, Kuroki's been farming like crazy already. 4.2k net worth, about to surpass the Timbersaw at this rate.
He's got that mech, it's that timing. They're going to look to try and push as soon as they can.
Hanskin. GH. Well, he played him like a fiddle right there. Low HP, and Hanskin, despite his inability to likely even get that kill, kept right-clicking down, so it's just a simple spike carapace play into a rotation from Mind Control to pick up an easy kill. And all of a sudden, this OD that was still a little bit roughed up, didn't have the greatest start to the lane, it's just sitting top of the net worth, already halfway towards the Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, you can see a bunch of Nigma heroes grouped up around this top side. I think they might be even trying to go for a kill onto 3-3, who wisely timber chains back. I'm a bit interested in this build from Miracle as well. Looks like he's going for an Oblivion Staff into a Diffusal Blade. A little bit of a weird choice.
Well, you should just be going for the Echo Saber, right? And then just across into Diffu.
Yeah. But I was thinking maybe more going into the Diffusal Blade first, right? Because he's got this early timer. You want to push the advantage as much as they can, and early on, you're not going to have the chance to go for something like the BKB. He's already got the broom handle, so he's going to get plenty of hits off. I just thought it was a bit of an odd choice.
Yeah, I get where you come from. I think the Diffu, like, it's variable in terms of dependency when you're playing this game as a Monk King. Like, how much do you need in this game? Like, who are you looking to burn the mana of? Is it that critical? There are some heroes that it makes so much sense against.
All the
but-
TPs go on top side.
Yep, Chen makes the other one arrive as well. Jump in, straight forward. They've already got the Timber. They're going to follow up with the Rubik killing Fada. Stuck in the tree line. They died too quick. He couldn't even hit. He couldn't even save anyone's life with a false promise. He'll just die as well.
Look at this army of Chen creeps. It's absolutely nuts.
Behold.
You've got the mechanism. Yeah, you've got the divine favor as well. So everyone's healing up for a crap ton of HP, and they're going to look to push down this top lane ASAP.
The only thing I'd love to see him replace now is if you can actually get a Kobold instead of the Stormcrafter, and then you have the ability to just pursue constantly. I think
they've still got that anyway, right? They've got the Monkey King that can just dance through the trees.
Oh, definitely, but it's the follow-up, right? That move speed is quite noticeable. GH will go down, and I was about to praise this guy because he has been kind of pivotal to their success in the last few minutes.
Mid lane, Weehaw.
Moving through. TP's going to come in, though. He's only down to half HP, and this is looking a little bit dicey at best. They actually need to get out. Sandsclips gets dropped. Timber is already gone, and Nico Baby might be the follow-up kill. Moves away with a Blink Strike just in time, though.
I was actually a little worried if he was going to get burst down while Kuro's long TP was happening, because the TP through from Mind Control happened first. So no Hand of God, and of course no mech unless he's standing right next to him. But able to turn it around onto the Timber Saw, and top T1 tower's gone. Let's go for...
This is part of the scary factor of the OD, though. It's similar to how Shaker was, right? When you be going for that Ags Rush, where it's actually ridiculous how long it takes to kill him. And he didn't even take the health talent. He's just so goddamn tanky and so high up on the net worth that he's not a kill anymore. And they go deep, looking for kills. They'll find Fada. Miracle will be giving his life for this cause, but there might be vengeance in response. Dust is going to come out. We doesn't want to commit for this, though. They mistimed that, so Nika Baby is just hidden and runs away. They might re-engage.
No Hand of God used, which I thought might have been a little bit odd, but Kuro deciding not worth it.
He needs to learn the hard way, okay?
Communication, as you said. Yeah. You'll never learn otherwise.
You know, if you're always relying on Papa, you won't be independent. That's what he's trying to offer him, at least. And it should be so easy to save now, because we now have that Axe, as you said, the Hand of God, the mech. There's so many elements to Nigma's lineup. And then you look at the side of Alliance, it's your classic frustrating 5 scenario where if you pick this one off, they have no way of resetting, they have no way of surviving. If you can find a kill on a Fada, which in this type of game is quite easy for them, you're just done. GH, gonna find 33, who's looking pretty done. Yules will buy him time, though, dodges out the stun. However, there is a follow-up, and it is a pesky one.
Yeah, he's straight dead.
Yeah, there's no escape. And this is the thing I was highlighting earlier with the Vendar. This passive is ridiculous in this game. Against the Timber, we saw it earlier when he got a solo kill on the Huskar as well. Even against the Ricky, actually, to stop him going invis. It's an insanely good Nyx game.
Yeah. Normally I'd get a little tilted if this was my team, and, you know, while someone's dying in lane, people are jungling, but decent timing, right? They still had a couple of neutral items still to obtain on the Alliance side, and that's going to get them the firepower that they need to close this 6k net worth gap that they're currently fighting.
And in that regard, they at least get a very good item on Limp. They found the Grove Bow, one of the better items that Huskar, maybe one of the best ones actually, if not the best in the tier 2 at least, that he can get his hands on.
And wisely going for the early BKB as well, realizing that, you know, Miracle has gone for this Echo Saber first. Fusel Blade is probably one of the more obvious choices for the next one, so definitely going to have the advantage there from being able to counter that. But also, you've got the OD who, with the Ag Scepter, a lot harder to counter any sort of aggression coming from the Husk.
That's the biggest one. It's all about that Axe, and that's why also Nico Baby is going for one next. Nico Baby, in the meantime, taking too much damage. Double stun coming out. False promise will get Nico Baby out, but Hans can be left behind. Goes down just trying to actually return some fire here as GH gets the kill. Looks like they might get one else out.
Miracle.
GH is still blind. And he's faster than Fada here, so he's going to have to address this. Nice sidestep, though. And now punishment for GH. You're being a bad, bad boy. But the heals are good enough to get him out in one piece. They'll take control of the vision game in this area, and then just probably return to hit the tier 2s.
Heals good enough, saving that magic stick until the very last second, so he did have the Carapace if you needed it. But the name of the game is fine.
And they know. They ping it out straight away. They know where he is. He'll hide in his own little world, but when you come out, there is a violent death awaiting you.
Dire's middle tower.
But it's okay. Not everyone's in the jungle this time, Danog. 33 is cutting waves. And might be punished for it in a second. It's just a matter of whether we think this is worthwhile for the kill, and he does. You can already see the TP coming in from Monkey King as well. There's one thing you can count on. It's a Timber getting a little bit too greedy every once in a while. Yules, let's try for the TP out. He does make it in time. No, the Battle Strike Miracle gets across. And he is gone. It's just a matter of how much of their time he can waste. And not much, because GH is here, ready for the stun follow-up. He's just dead. And look at that, the power of Chen. Immediately back across the mid. Miracle's like, sup, what are we doing here? Are we thinking Roche? Are we thinking more towers? Or you just want to go casually kill a Husker?
Well, they were pinging out the Roche, and looks like Kuro might be looking to get a ward up before they look to take it, or maybe even one more pick-off before they get the opportunity.
Yeah, you have a window when you still have this Jingu buff active, so it's worth holding on to one charge if you think someone's coming out. It's something we saw really become popular amongst mids when this hero started to emerge, right? Is these rotations in the outer lanes quickly, allowing you to then flip to another lane with that buff still active and find additional kills because it is so potent.
Yeah, Miracle, or sorry, 3-3 rather, going towards the Spirit Vessel to counter the Miracle Jingu Mastery, but you can see from his kills and deaths, only 1 kill and 2 assists on 3-3 so far. So no stacks into that Urn of Shadows, no charges rather. It's going to be a little bit difficult. They're going to have to start winning these fights, but it's going to get more and more difficult with that net worth lead just continuing to grow, now reaching 5 figures with a 10k lead.
Scary indeed. And this is just the inherent issue when you allow Nigma's lineup to begin snowballing, right? When the Monkey King does get a little bit out of control, you've got this issue where you don't actually have a natural Spirit Vessel builder, right? You haven't got supports that get GPM talents anymore. It's not easy for them to grab it. And Rubik, there's so many items this hero wants, right? You're probably looking at the Aether Lens, then you're thinking Blink Dagger or Force Staff or Yules. These are all more important because you're not tanky enough to just hold a Spirit Vessel.
I feel like Limp's going to get unlucky and get bashed twice here by Roche.
He's looking good. And a much needed boom for the side of Alliance. Meanwhile, in the mid, though, they might be one hero down as 33 gets found out. And GH instantly into the Veda, moving forward, looking for more. They're not quick enough, though. Or are they? 4-star forward. With that, Miracle gets back in the tower, but they see him perfectly. They lift him out of the tower, disarm him as well. He goes for the Wukongs. They're trying to heal him up. Hand of God, life drain as well. Everything for him. The BKB was used in that map. Husker, he's already lost the Aegis. Mind control by time. He crept up, able to move away. Miracle's going to live. Tries to turn around. False Prophet's going to come out, and Limp is just stunned up by GH. Not able to do anything against all this damage coming in. He's definitely going to fall. And Miracle, he's sustaining through all this. Science Glyph's thrown down. He will die, but it is for the right cause as they kill 4 members of Alliance and they take that Aegis away.
Oh, that was some insane team fight coming through from Nigma. Nearly flawless execution. Yeah, you lose Miracle at the end, but the amount of attention put onto him by all of these physical damage heroes inside the Wukong's command, it took so long to kill him. You had the Hand of God. I don't think Guardian Greaves even connected onto him because he was in the middle of an astral imprisonment, but Weehar and him working in perfect synergy to make sure that he was surviving for the longest time.
It was definitely the case. That was a clutch Wukong's coming out just in time, and it was almost like he was just standing there. Miracle was like, just do it. Just press that button, nuke them out of existence right there. Because their eyes are so fixated on one hero, you have to consider that Nigma's lineup right now, it's not this one carry lineup. There is 2 carries you have to address, and when you're sitting on the side of Alliance, you don't actually have the firepower. Nico Baby's still not strong enough. He needs to actually be an item ahead of these type of heroes to be able to fight them. And 33. He's out of mana. Soon to be out of life. That Spirit Vessel that he's been coveting, that he's been going towards, looking at as a poster on his wall, hoping for, and G8 just comes in and mocks him with his own one.
Yeah, what a handy thing to have, you know. Nyx Assassin, pause for 6 charges on a Spirit Vessel coming up against a Husker and a Timbersaw. Insane.
Couldn't ask for more. Limp, he might be forced to use the BKB here. There it is. He has to throw it out. But the damage from Miracle. Whew. This boy's hitting hard right now. Something could get worse from here on out. The last thing you want this stage in the game is the Huskar to be expending BKB charges like that already down to the 8-second mark. It's only recently picked
they'll
up.
be seeing that as a big win. The BKB pop. means the next tower push that they go for, assuming that, well, actually the waves are reasonably far pushed in from Alliance's end, so don't think they'll be able to get it. Maybe the priority will go towards the neutral creeps, which now are going to be spawning those tier 3 items. Might give some sort of way for Alliance to catch up. Orb of Destruction could be on the cards.
Much needed at this stage, and you already see the move from Nigma. They smoke up and they want to reconnect towards the bot area as they understand that Alliance are going to pivot around Nico Baby and try and enable him, get him into this game, maybe off the back of that 15 talent again, a little bit extra damage, but instead Nico Baby able to jump first. GH protected by the Astral though, and the Astral out to keep the Huskar out of the equation. Wukong's goes down in this choke point. A lot of trouble for Limp as he just gets evaporated. There's no way he can survive it. And on the side, Fada, nothing he can do either as he got stunned up and killed off. Double kill already for Wee. He wants more though. He's feeling a little bit peckish. They'll find someone trying to limp away into the base. There's actually Hanskin who's brought down. There's 3 dead now on the side of Alliance. The net comes out from GH. They see Nico Baby as well as they've dusted him up. He will fight against Nyx Assassin, but this wasn't a fight he wanted to take as 4 members of Alliance are dead. And 33 just waving over his teammates going, don't worry guys, I've almost got this Spirit Vessel. The only response coming out is, when are you going to get an urn charge, buddy?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they were to call it if they lose one more big team fight and it transitions into an objective. Wouldn't surprise me either if Kuro had the exact timing of the BKB on the Huskar in mind, because there was only 5 seconds left when he went down there. They knew that they had the ability to take that fight with a clean victory.
And just those small differences, that's what makes them all, especially in these Huskar type lineups. It's a volatile lineup, right? Like Huskar's usually described as these heroes that after their first Aegis pull into their second one, if they die maybe just 2 times, the game is almost over. They need someone else to start taking over. And this is, you know, it's a situation where Nico Baby is anywhere near to take over for this Huskar, which is what we usually see from Alliance, right? Is this passing of the baton. Instead, Miracle swinging his own baton in the face of Limp. They're going to force Wee away, but the Astrals can be there to protect for longer. Forcing out the BKB from Limp. Wee will look to move away. Has to activate his own BKB, but too much damage done already. False Promise jump in straight away, and they can bring down the OD. He hung around. He was too focused on saving Private Miracle, and he's still going to go down. GH tries to get out, but they have his number as well. There's no easy escape from him. All of a sudden, Nigma overstay their welcome and get booted out by Alliance.
Yeah, great job by 3-3 there, creating so much attention around the mid lane. Honestly, they shouldn't be worried. He was sitting right here in between the tier 2 and tier 3 towers in mid. There's no way he's going to take any sort of objectives. Tier 1 was still up, but drawing 2 heroes away from Nigma's push forward, and Alliance realizing that they had the numbers advantage, immediately jumping on, getting those BKBs popped in, taking a bit of control back in this game, maybe. It's still a 15k net worth lead though.
Well, Empire's downfall starts with one small step, and this could be the beginning of Alliance comeback, but they're going to have to do this a few more times. And as you said, Nigma, they might fall for that trick once. They might get distracted by 33 once. Not necessarily again. Of course, the advantage 33 has now is if he shows up these fights, he does now have that Spirit Vessel. If he dies like this, however, it's not a good way to use it.
He's already got the stacks of the reactive armor up though.
Yeah, but the damage is way too much.
Yeah, way too much.
It's the Vendetta play. Every single time, Spike Carapace into Vendetta, and suddenly you have no reactive armor working for you. And they even spotted out Nico Baby. They're going to hunt onto him. The net's going to come out as well. The Spirit Vessel is thrown out onto him. Nice stun. We'll get them in range and bring him low. With the Astral, that is bye-bye Nico Baby. Let's go by a few more seconds. He won't make it out, though.
Miracle playing with fire up here.
He's backed up, though. They aren't playing stupid here. If they're going to split up, it's always this split up with a friend, right? Any rule of thumb whenever you're in a horror movie right now, and when you're blind like this in the top area, that can be the case, but they're not. They're the ones with the wars. They're the ones with the smoke rotation, and Fada is the one with no TP. The Battle Strike! They'll see him, though. No escape for him. Close, but no cigar. You're the only one getting smoked around here.
Thought maybe Nigma might try and get onto that high ground. They had the full mid-wave pushing in that they've already taken the super creeps from. But if you can pick off Fada, you're probably going to be able to transition into that very easily anyway. Bannerins as well up in the next 20 seconds. They've taken outpost control once again. I forget what it was at 20 minutes. I want to say that it was 1 outpost each. But Alliance definitely starved for XP this game.
And 33 starved for any relevance in this game. He gets hit by the Vendetta, the Spirit Vessel. The Yules will buy him a few seconds, but he's dead. No reinforcements coming. His game right now is split push until my team is ready to fight. But you can see how quick Nigma just move across the map and punish that each time.
Net worth's in the bin as well, sitting down in 7th position. Only 8.1k net worth at 30 minutes in. That's not what you want from a Timbersaw pick, especially one that you took early on.
No, then you look at Kuro. He's just continuing to farm up crazy. He's had this Philosopher's Stone the whole time. He's already got the Guardian Greaves, the Vlads as well, and 2,000 gold to spend. You know what? Chen's never been so happy. He's just looking at all this money and wondering what the hell to do with it. It's like, team, do you need any need salves? No, you can heal yourself. Do you guys need wards? I'll buy more wards if I can.
Could be a 4-staff coming from him next, or maybe a medallion into a Solar Crest. Could be useful for bursting down these heroes really quickly, or providing that extra little bit of protection that Nigma have shown that they're very capable of having for their teammate.
Well, looks like he's made a purchase. Fairly expensive one. Should be on its way now. I think it's important he keeps for buyback as well, just because the Hand of God clutch save from cross map could be the difference if he goes down too early.
He's going a holy locket on the Chen.
Yeah, this is definitely the point where you now save a buyback in these situations, because that Hand of God could easily clutch a fight even if you die before using any spells. I would actually love to see something like save a buyback, and then once you have it, I mean, even if you have 2 boots, just go boost of travel as well, so you can be just as present around the map if you get split up from your team. In fairness, though, they do still have this tier 1 mid, so there's not even that much pressure for him to go for that kind of level of mobility.
Radiant scanning up into this area. You can see the smoke gank trying to catch someone from Nigma off guard. Got some good vision up here, though, and they're going to see that the smoke's happening.
And Miracle's going to go in with the Wukong's down. The BKB Fada has no escape, and he's dead. 33 will try and make his escape, but GH is hot on pursuit, looking for the perfect target, and it'll be Limp. Stuns him up, breaks him as well. Spirit Vessel's out. BKB from Nico Baby and Limp to fight back. The buyback comes out from Fada. They have to stand and hold their ground. GH, Yules buys himself some time. 33 zoning away mind control in the meantime, and GH, the Hand of God heal. The Sand Clips gets dropped down as well. No one dying just yet. GH is just barely going to live, Limp it away. They've already the false promise as well. Buyback will come out from Rubik now, but on the side, Nyx is going to go down. And the tree line, it looks like 33 is going to join him as Miracle does get himself the double kill. And Limp, getting low on HP, needs to move away. The silence will protect him from the huge damage coming out in the pure form from Weeha, but he can follow up, jump in. Limp knows he has to fight here, but Decrepify split up on the fight. We goes deeper, disarmed as well. Astro to buy a little bit of time, but they split up the fight well. Fada is going to fall in the meantime. That's going to be his dieback, but they will lose the OD. Dead for 90 seconds. Limp is still standing, and so is Nico Baby. Nigma, they have to get out. They have to back up a little bit. Miracle has 1 tree to stand on. He's looking for a play. He's going to jump in on a Limp, who has no mana left. Might be forced to fight here. Tries to turn around. The smoke screen's going down. Force him back. Mind control. But Miracle's still too tanky. Ricky will hide in his own little realm of protection and move away just in time. Long range, just Hanskin is stepping off to the right. They will manage to survive. Almost losing their heads for trying to actually bite off more than already the delicious meal they got in OD.
Very handy. I thought Nigma was doing a great job in kiting around the Huskar in that team fight. Popped his BKB very early on, had a lot of the effectiveness ruined by the Astrals being put onto the targets that get doved. I think he tried to go on to GH's Nyx early on into it. Trying to chase down Kuro at least. Take down some
Kill
of
his
these
babies.
creeps that he's put. Not the babies.
His children must die, okay? The way that you beat Chen is by killing his future, not his now. Nico Baby,
Nico,
he has no
no.
future at this rate, but the BKB just in time. They didn't want to hard commit for the hit in time to kill him, so more than enough time to just hit 1 button and back away. But that does mean that he will not have magic immunity available to him when there's a fight around this pit. And with OD being up in 10 seconds and Roche being spawned, you can bet your ass off that's where you see a fight next.
Very handy for Alliance also picking up the Orb of Destruction. We've got one sitting on Miracle as well. So I'm sure that's going to be a key factor in this next fight. Ricky's just become a whole lot more potent.
Also, Limp having this Paladin Sword just gives him so much sustain in the most crucial moments when you get down to that 3rd HP and you can just pop the BKB. If you can't burst him with the Spirit Vessel on, he's going to recover very quickly and suddenly your gank attempt backfires.
Titan Sliver given over to 33 as well. So that extra status resistance and magic resistance going to come in handy. It's just smoke on smoke on smoke. 35 minutes into it. I'm sure we've seen about, what, 6 so far?
Yep, smoking kills. And let's see who's going to die because of a limp. BKB goes straight in. He's not going to mess around with that Vendetta on the side. The balance strike goes down. Miracle, he's cut the back line. He's got him behind them. The Spirit Vessel's on him, yes, but Alliance need to retreat, and they're in trouble. The Astral is out, and it looks like Huskar's too deep. False Promise, he knows he has to fight. He goes deeper, looking at Louis, but the second Astral is going to control him up. In the meantime, GH is going to go down to Fada. But Limp is against the world, and the numbers are against him as he is overwhelmed by the force. Enigma gets brought down, has to buy back straight away. The sun is eclipsed Fada! He just goes straight away. 33's almost dead. The chase is on. Miracle guesses wrong with the boundless strike. The sun's coming out from Nico Baby to buy enough time, and they jump in. They're going to actually be able to bring him down. Wee's going to die. They'll look across. They will be able to find the kill in the meantime to 33, but they need to get Nico Baby out alive. Long range blink strike out towards Limp will allow him to escape, but Miracle is still the bully in this fight, and all of a sudden Alliance have to back off.
Just a little slow on the hand of God from Kuro, but I don't think it would have made much of a difference. The instant buyback coming from Limp wasn't really all that useful, I think. A lot of the damage did come through from the other heroes on the team, but having to back off now, Nico Baby on a shred of health and mana. Just wanting to recover, get closer and closer to that nullifier, but man, it just seems like every single fight they're on a knife's edge.
Exactly. We're seeing how quickly he gets burst down by Pugner's last hit stick. The level 4 Dagon, I believe, is actually almost got the 5th one. In fact, it should be on the way out at this point. He's the scary bugger at stage with the Decrepify. When you think about how little the health ball is on the Ricky and the items he's built, he can't be brunting the high amount of the damage coming in initially. Limp has to be tanking the whole thing, and now the Limp doesn't have buyback is dangerous. And the back line stabbed into. Fada has to use False Promise himself. BKB from Nico Baby is almost dead already. Limp, he needs to escape right now. He doesn't have his BKB anymore. He's hit up by the Spirit Vessel as well. They don't want to go up in the high ground. They don't quite know what's going on here, but they do know that Fada is no longer in the world of the living. That advantage.
Buyback previously used a few minutes ago, so Fada's definitely not going to be a presence in this team fight. They can confidently take Roche, although Alliance, they can see that it might be now or never. They're considering it.
The problem is this Nyx. He just stands there with a spike carapace when you don't have your BKBs available. There's no way you can approach. And instead, Limp now has no mana. So no way of disarming them. Will BKB already? And he doesn't have the attack speed. They just have to move away. Hanskin at least gets the lift out into Miracle, but the Yules comes out into him in return, and he will not be getting out alive. Dead for 50 seconds. And that should be no more interruption for Nigma, as they can go and take a moment of silence in the pit with Roche. But instead, Monkey King's going to go split push first before being returned to Chen.
Yeah, just looking to finish off that Abyssal Blade. Trying to take control of the game, finish it up. I don't think they want to wait for this 40-minute timer.
No, at this point, with this sort of leverage laid, 27,000 net worth up over the side of Alliance, you don't hang around. You don't want to risk Nico Baby reaching a hyper late game scenario in which he actually has items, because that's when Ricky does hit like a truck.
Support's getting ripped through very easily, but from Nigma's end, they're confident that the Huskar, his BKB's down to 5 seconds. I think they've been doing a fantastic job so far of timing their own BKBs to make sure that they're countering a lot of the aggression coming out from.
Most definitely so.
See though, their durations aren't the longest either. 7 seconds on the Monkey King, 6 seconds on
Jump
the
in.
OD.
Fire is occurring. Astrals to mess with it. We is just hanging back afar to see how this one plays out. And Limp has to use the BKB, gets the false promise already. He needs to start hitting hard. Miracle's going to throw the Wukong. This will jump in straight away. He's going to control him up. The balance strike goes out to 33, and he's already dead. And all of a sudden, Limp, he's going to be burned up in the middle of the mess too quickly. He's going to go down. No way back, and is dead for 100 seconds, and the GG gets called. Without the Huskar, there is no life for the side of Alliance. And Nigma, they take game 3.
They're getting closer, 1 game away from making it through to the minor. It's a lot more to play for Nigma, right? You've got Alliance and Liquid sitting on the same amount of DPC points, I believe 1,800 plus a little bit that they got from this closed qualifier. Nigma still obviously needing those vital points to get closer and closer to that TI qualifier spot. So you can feel just that little bit of extra desperation coming from them.
Most definitely so. And Nigma, you know, there's been questions about them coming to this qualifier, the way it started day 1. Pete, there have been haters, there have been doubters, but they're starting to find their stride again. They're starting to understand that Miracle is the key, and every time you can unlock that, it's great. And more importantly, in this game, the way that Alliance played into that too hard allowed Mind Control to show you just what he can do when he gets a free lane.
Yeah. I mean, you don't leave Mind Control in a 1v1. He's going to win most of the time. We saw he's much more perhaps susceptible to being bullied in lane than some others. And you can see Miracle able to come back. I believe he finished towards the top or at the top of the net worth once it was all said.
Yeah, he was only outpaced by we on the OD, who actually, when you consider how bad the start was for him, because he did have a hard time. I think Huskar towards the end of the lane phase had almost 30 denies from the lane. He was being starved out, but they bounced back pretty efficiently. I think they definitely capitalized on the fact that when you look at Alliance's heroes, they are quite static, right? You don't have an active core in the likes of the Monkey King, as an example, that can actually just go and kill someone in a different lane. With that, that means that Nigma do take an advantage here. This best of 5, we're halfway through, and it's starting to look on the up for Nigma as they are sitting 2 to the 1 point of Alliance. We're going to go a short break, and then we'll return for game number 4, where we'll see if Alliance are going to make us go the whole mile on this one, or if Nigma have finally had enough, they're finally back in full swing, and this is going to be the TI caliber squad that we're used to.